Welcome back to the $2 Film Club. Today we are back fresh from seeing Spider-Man Brand New Day twice, actually. Which is a first. It's a first for me to go back and see a movie like twice in theaters. But we went and did it specifically for the podcast so that we would have full thoughts and, full concrete opinions about this movie. But yeah, so Spider-Man Brand New Day came out over the weekend, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's been making a shit ton of money.
It made a shit ton, bro.
In comparison to like another big movie that literally just came out as well, The Odyssey.
Dude,
that movie has
Otta what? I didn't see it coming through.
And actually, now that I think about it, how much has it made so
it's
far?
I hate to say it's only made like 700, I think.
No, it's made 922 million.
Oh, it's made that much.
But that's
that's right.
But that's over like 2 weeks.
But the real question is will it actually reach $1 billion?
Literally.
Because, dude, this is what
I think
happened
it
with
will.
Oppenheimer. This is exactly what happened to Oppenheimer. It fucking floated its way to 900 million. And then right around 950, 960, it kind of just like hit a dead stop. And that's kind of what it feels like. But dude, Spider-Man exploded beyond fucking belief, surpassing $1 billion in only 6 days.
But like, here's the thing though, because like Oppenheimer was in theaters for like 123 days.
Was it really
from July to November, and The Odyssey has been out for what, 2-3 weeks? When did it come out?
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it came out on July 17th. So yeah, it's all of it's crazy because it was a big deal for The Odyssey because Oppenheimer, while it did well, Odyssey even surpassed that, and now Spider-Man has been breaking box office records left and right, and on top of that, it's also been doing like surprisingly well, even based on the other Spider-Man movies that we got. Like you and me were talking about right before this. In its opening weekend, I'm pretty sure No Way Home made like $655 million. Mm-hmm. And for the opening weekend of Brand New Day, it's grossed over $1 million. It wasn't quite enough to beat Endgame globally, but it did break the record for domestic opening, with Endgame only getting $357.1 million in its opening weekend domestically, and Brand New Day got $360 million. So that's a good $3 million that it beat out by.
I got a question. Do you think it'd be breaking any records if Dune makes $1 billion as well, for Zendaya being in $3 billion
maybe
films? Because like, bro, that feels like a very real thing right now, and that's like something I've been sitting on the more I've been watching Brand New Day like do as well. Because dude, Zendaya's in all three. She still's got like one of the biggest bangers this year, and I hate to spoil it to people, but I really don't think Tom Holland is in Doomsday. I think they're saving him for Secret Wars.
Same, yeah.
Especially by that end post-credit scene, which, by the way, before we get any further, spoilers for anybody watching, because we've been trying to get better at that. And you know what? Spoiler warning from here on out, just because I do want to just mention the post-credit scene right off the bat, since we're talking about Tom Holland's involvement in the box office and all that. Just because, what did you first interpret the post-credit scene as the first time? Because I needed to do a little bit of digging to get to the consensus that I got to.
So I still don't know exactly what it means. I mean, I understand what you were saying when you were telling me that, like, based on the comics for Secret Wars, like it could be, signifying the battle world thing. My thing is that I was hearing, before I even saw the movie, I had seen like a clip from an interview with Andrew Garfield, where the interviewer was implying that the post-credit scene alluded to there being another Spider-Man off-world.
I just don't believe that though.
I don't. Yeah, I after I saw the post-credit scene, I kind of sat there and I was like, I don't know if that's what that's saying. But even if it is, one, I don't think the post-credit scene does a good job of signifying anything really.
I don't know. I think it does a good enough job.
My problem is that the movie doesn't really explain how the Spidey Tracker app works. And so
that doesn't matter, bro. That doesn't matter.
It matters for me because I'm trying to sit there and being like, how does that work? Like, what is this supposed to be suggesting? But then other people were saying that it also could be that, well, I mean, I guess similar to like less specific to the Battle World thing, but like to me, it seemed like they were saying that Spider-Man's going to be in space again, which is I don't know how that's meant to get me excited to see Spider-Man return. Because I've seen Spider-Man in space before. That doesn't, I'm not going to be fucking, coming in my theater seat watching that. So I just feel like there was so many different ways that they could have teased the next movie is going to be Avengers Doomsday. So.
And then the one after that, Secret Wars. So
yeah, I just feel like there was a better way for them to tease that movie. Or, whatever the next movie that Spider-Man's going to be in. And that's to me, I felt a little disappointed and it wasn't just me either. Everyone in my theater, the first time that I saw it, I heard just a collective, like, sigh of, like, that was it. Because there's no mid-credit scene. And honestly, at this point, I would have appreciated, like, kind of just like a silly little epilogue scene in the middle, just so that I could walk away with something. But that was me personally, so,
To me, it just felt like a very comic book nerdy post-credit scene. Like, if you're not someone who's into the comics and you're someone who's
I'm
not up to date with the movies, but like everything all at the same time, like I'm not either. I just dug into it because I was curious as to like what it could have meant. But like, dude, think about it. The app starts on Peter in Queens, and then it pulls out to him like being dragged from Earth with like a Bifrost kind of symbol coming through and like glitching out the screen.
I didn't read it as a Bifrost thing.
Dude,
I didn't watch the post credit scene the second time when I saw it last night.
Because
I was like, I don't want to stay here for this.
Dude,
I saw it the first time. Is it on YouTube?
Of course, bro. Everything's on YouTube when it comes
I'll go back and watch that later. But my thing is that, like, I feel like at this point, Marvel and Disney should have learned their lesson that people don't like to do research with this stuff. Like, their entire Disney Plus catalog is shit that nobody wants to watch because, one, they have to pay for it, and two, they don't want to fucking, like, you and I were talking about before this that there was some journalist prior to the movie having even been shot, where he was saying that Mephisto would make an appearance, being reprised by Sacha Baron Cohen from Ironheart. I didn't fucking watch Ironheart. I don't think anybody watched Ironheart except for you. And so it's just like, why would you include elements in that makes people, one, it's not clear like what they're trying to say, and then you have to go out and watch a fucking video or read the comics to understand it. That's my thing. It's a nitpick.
I'll say this. You are upset that they're not being they're being too discreet at what they're trying to set up. But for the last, 5 years, every post-credit scene has told you what to expect next. And last time I checked...
Have they, though? Have they?
Yeah, bro. They literally made you think Hercules was going to go hunt down the fucking Thor at the end of Love and Thunder.
I mean, he still could. We haven't gotten Thor 5 or whatever it is now.
Bro, when did Thor Love and Thunder come out? 4 years ago?
2022? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, 4 years ago? What about
2022, I was right.
What about
That's
the
crazy.
Black Knight stuff from Eternals? What about
Oh, you mean the one
Harry
where
Styles?
the only Marvel movie that the Mahershala Ali's Blade was in?
Bro, stop.
That's the worst one. That's the worst one because
that's an absolute meme now, though, because he's not anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. Just obviously, yeah. I don't want it to be a useless, tease that never happens. But my thing is that we've gotten so little in terms of marketability for Doomsday. I know the trailer came out, but I haven't really seen anyone who thought the trailer was all that.
You saw Vision Quest, bro.
Is that even coming out
Yeah,
sometime
that
soon?
comes out in October.
Does it really? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that gonna have? But is that gonna? But here's the thing: is that gonna have anything to do with the movie? We don't fucking
I
know because we don't know what the movie's about. Like even
I
in the
told
even
you
in
what
the
I think.
trailer,
You're talking about Doomsday.
I know what you
right?
told me you think the movie's about, but that doesn't mean it's actually going to be with
I
a
don't
lot
know,
of
bro.
people.
Watch the trailer based off my description. It seems pretty likely.
I've been wanting so much. I don't feel any excitement for Doomsday, and the post credit scene for this movie didn't do anything to fix that. I was just like, okay, Spider-Man's going to be back, I guess, and yeah, I'm so disinterested in what anything that Doomsday has to say or do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think I'm more interested in Secret Wars about what happens after the events of Doomsday
Mm.
rather than the actual film that's supposed to like set it all up.
It's kind of the reverse of how I feel towards like the Infinity Saga, like those last two Avengers movies that we got, where I think Infinity War is like a better movie, and then Endgame is kind of just like the I don't know, the odd one out. I guess I would say I still like Endgame and I still rank it very highly, obviously, but it's not the one that I return to the most. But yeah, I don't know. I think they have everything working against them in terms of Avengers, but maybe we'll save that for another time. We should probably actually talk about the movie that we're here to talk about.
Hey, dude, there's a lot of setup to this film because Marvel seems to always.
Doomsday?
No. To Spider-Man Brand New Day because they always seemingly put Spider-Man films, the solo films, like dead in the center of like important Avengers like timeline stuff.
Yeah.
So I just find it very weird, and I think a lot of people are expecting this to lead into Doomsday. So I'm very curious to see what happens when people find out
that he's not going to be in it.
that he's him and Hulk probably aren't going to be in it. But let's talk about Brand New Day, the fourth film. And dude, that's crazy that they're already on the fourth solo
Already,
Spider-Man
bro.
film.
Dude, it's been fucking 10 years. When did...
Dude, 10 years? That's a lot, dude.
Because the first one came out in what,
Four
2017?
Spider-Man films in 10 years? That's a long time. On top of 2 Avengers appearances? Like...
Yeah. I think the only other Marvel character that's gotten this many movies was Thor. And based on that, you know, the last movie was not great. And I don't know, I just... You know, you and me were kind of joking that we kind of felt that there was way more excitement for this movie than, you know, the big Avengers movie. And I think the box office might prove that. We'll have to see what happens when Doomsday comes out. But I don't know. I just, like we said in our last, which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out our previous episode, which was about the Home trilogy, the John Watts trilogy, go ahead and check that out. It's out right now. But yeah, like we were saying in the last one, I think Spider-Man is probably like the strongest character in the MCU right now, and this movie just drives home, no pun intended, that Spider-Man is king right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I'm a little annoyed to in terms of like the Doomsday stuff is that it doesn't look like he's because you know that if he was going to be in the movie, they would have fucking told us
fuck out
because like all of the like early trailers, teasers, if you want to call them, focused heavily on like the previous Avengers. Like we had the Captain America one, we had the Thor one. What were the other ones?
They had like the Fantastic Four meeting Wakanda.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. But even in like the trailer that just came out, like it was Thor, you know, sounding all, you know, grand and what being like
the most I don't really believe in you guys.
Yeah, I know
like,
his shitty pep talk. But the trailer ends with him meeting up with fucking Chris Evans again, and I'm just like, this isn't exciting. But like the way that Brand New Day has captured the hearts of not only like Marvel fans, but like, you know, Spider-Man fans, I think is really amazing. Like even from the earlier trailers, like people were being like, "Oh yes, this is the way that I always wanted to see Spider-Man." That might not be this true after people having seen the movie, But we again we talked about in our last episode how Spider-Man fans are a little annoying about that shit. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think this movie is definitely going to be on my end of the year list.
Yeah.
All right, don't sound so surprised, bro.
No,
I know
like
you didn't
yeah,
like the movie, but
no, 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 no. I do. I think it's a good movie, but like I don't know. It just didn't give me that same chill that Homecoming and No Way Home gave me.
but like
I
when you
really
say
don't know.
chill though, like how because No Way Home and Brand New Day are trying to do very different things.
I agree, but I feel like Brand New Day still goes back to a lot of the same things that the Homecoming trilogy does. And
Like
I've
what?
said this to you before.
No,
I really wish we didn't get Ned and MJ in this movie.
I see. I don't understand that. Like, what? You just didn't want them to be in the movie at all? I feel like that would have been weird.
No, I thought it would have been really interesting to see them like grow up through social media like Peter throughout the entire movie and then have them like enter picture towards the end. You know what I mean? Let Peter learn this lesson and open himself up to other people. To me, it just seems really unbelievable unless they're trying to make it like this fate beats all type of thing. Fate has them all being besties for life. Like that's really what it feels like. But to me, I don't really think that's interesting. And to me, like Peter just hearing the woman that he made forget about him say, I don't love you. Yeah, it hurts. But also, what was he expecting? That's part of my
Well,
issue.
I think that's the point of that scene is that he makes this whole hubbub about like, oh, I was trying to protect you, but what I took away from the scene is that it's the movie forcing him. I think the reason he didn't actually tell her like after all this time was because he was too afraid to hear the answer.
Well, if he just did what he promised at the end of No Way Home, where it's just like keep his distance because he learned that people were closest to him died, like, I don't know. I just don't believe it.
Believe what?
That it would all happen so him reconnecting with them would just feel so easy. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about him and MJ like and them connecting. I'm just talking about them and their characters coming back together. Cause I did like the scenes with them together, like when Ned and Peter were doing like the little Lego build and MJ's doing the drawing of the two of them.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was all nice, but I'm like, all right, guys, you've done this in every single film almost. And yeah, it brings me back to a happier time a little bit. But I want to see Spider-Man / Peter progress past just these two characters. That's why, like, I was really expecting them in this movie to either have Peter in college or have him working. And I'm not saying working because like, oh, how does he make all this money to fund his project? I'm not talking about like that. Just open his world up to other characters that don't go against that rule of like keeping people close to him that get hurt. Like just keep people apart from you. Like he has a relationship with Punisher. I think that's a sweet little thing. No matter how much I don't think it's the same Punisher from everything we've seen from him before. But like it's just like things like that it's 50% expectations and 50% how I enjoyed they did it. And I really wish they let Peter meet other characters and develop new relationships. And I'm not talking about like love relationships.
Yeah.
Like maybe introduce Harry, as like a best friend.
Oh.
Like there's so many characters to bring into the Spider-Man films. Even fucking the original I keep thinking about how they cut out MJ from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 pretty frequent, and that it just like hit my head when I was thinking that because even the original Spider-Man trilogy was like, fuck, dude, we can't have 3 films of them like nagging over each other. Even though that's what the third one
they do.
Like. Yeah, even though that's what the third one kind of turns into by the end. But I still thought it was interesting having Gwen Stacy in that movie being a love dynamic. Or like, I don't know, make the boyfriend Flash Thompson. Like, all the things they do to give Peter a barrier to trying to reconnect with her in this movie just never feel fleshed out. And I just think that goes to the movie having too much it's trying to do.
I mean, yes and no. I don't know. I really liked all of that stuff because one, I think the movie does a good job of like justifying him, like how they incorporate MJ into the story, with Sadie Sink's Jean Grey, finding the note and sort of using it against him. But I don't know. I mean, the other thing too is that like a lot of the plot is like of him like going through those like mutational changes is tied directly to like his emotional state, revolving around, you know, finding out how that MJ and Ned have like moved on with their lives. So I don't know. I thought it worked nicely. And again, I feel like I would have been more perturbed by them not being in the movie at all. And I don't know. You mentioned earlier about it being easy. Like, I don't think the movie makes it easy, because for me, the thing that I really liked about the movie is them playing on the expectation of that scene halfway through where they're on the rooftop.
Dude, I'm sorry. There's not a single person on this planet that fucking believed it was all going to get resolved like that.
No, but
don't tell me you actually did, bro.
No, I'm not saying not saying that I believed. I'm saying that I liked the way the movie played with the expectation of that kind of being the easy way out for the reveal that it's actually Jean in disguise.
You know what?
And for me,
you're right.
I thought that was interesting for the movie to specifically like reference that, of like, this is how any other movie or maybe comic book or whatever would have treated this dynamic, in just sort of, you know, casting aside everything that the other movies did in terms of this relationship, that bold narrative choice from No Way Home to have everyone forget him. And I did really like that, you know, it flips it on its head, you know, the trope of like, oh, true love's kiss or whatever. And then you get to that moment it sets up the moment later when she does find the note, and essentially Peter is forced to confront this issue of like, oh, I've, you know, held this back. I've been bottling up my emotions, and, you know, I'm now being forced to deal with the consequences of the decision that I made. Which I don't know, I thought it worked really nice narratively and thematically, because at the end of the day, I think this movie is like I think one of the main themes of the movie is like the idea of choice. Like, all of the characters are confronted with like their choices. And even in the conversation that he has with Frank, right before he goes to fight Jean in the like fake third act of the movie, he's like, do you think this is like, this is a lifestyle that, you know, I wanted? This is, you know, do you think if my family was still alive that I would be pretending to be something that I'm not? Which I thought all that stuff was really interesting, and it worked toward what the movie was trying to say about Peter as Spider-Man and all of that. I don't know if that made sense, but
no, I don't disagree. And I like the messaging about how like having people isn't a bad thing, and being able to lean on someone for help isn't a bad thing. And I really like I said, I think out of the rewatch, the one thing that grew on me the most was, I guess I should start off with asking you this before I get into like my thoughts about it, is how did you feel about Jean Grey being in this movie, and how unsuspecting was it for you? Because I knew about this.
Unsuspecting in terms of like what?
You didn't actually know it was Jean Grey.
We all knew it was going to be her.
Yeah, bro. Everyone knew it was Jean Grey for the past goddamn year.
When I saw the movie, like, don't get me wrong, I didn't really want her to be Jean Grey, because I thought that was the most like, to me it felt like a cop out. Not only because like we knew that Sadie Sink was going to be in the movie, and everyone was like, "Oh, she's probably playing Jean Grey because she's a redhead."
Well, dude, when they announced her in an undisclosed role right before a bunch of X-Men characters are about to show up, and she's a fucking redhead in her early 20s, like.
The other thing too that the reason why I also didn't kind of agree with that was not that I thought that she wasn't going to be Jean Grey, but the reason why I kind of didn't want her to be Jean Grey is because I didn't understand how they were going to make it work until I saw the trailer for the movie when it came out, and it was borrowing heavily from like the Human Spider arc. I've never read it if it's in the comics, but I've seen that's the like I mentioned to you that I forgot that's the only other animated Spider-Man thing that I've ever seen. For whatever reason, this the one day where it was playing on cable, that was the one animated Spider-Man episodes that I saw was when he was mutating into the spider or whatever. And so it kind of clicked on me. That was when I truly, deep within my soul, I was like, "Fuck, she's gonna be playing Jean Grey," because I just did not want to see her in this movie. I was like, it does not make any fucking sense. But having seen the movie, one, I really liked Sadie Sink's performance. I thought it was really, really good, and I did enjoy the way that they included her in the story. However, I similar to sort of not as strongly, but similar to my sentiment toward Far From Home, I think the movie does try way too hard to conceal, like hide who she is, who the antagonist of the story, not villain, antagonist of the story is. Because the first half might feel a little bit slow and a little bit like, what's going on here? And it definitely doesn't help that. And I know for a fact that's the only reason why they tried so hard to not reveal who she was in like any of the marketing stuff, because it does happen like halfway through the movie. They were like, this has to be a reveal. But when it happens, it's just so like, I don't want to say half-assed, but it's
anticlimactic.
The reveal is so like nonchalant and anticlimactic to the point where like when I saw it last night again, someone in the audience said, "Oh shit," when her name dropped. And I but nobody else did. We were all just like, "Oh yeah, that, the cool. She's Jean Grey."
We knew.
But
cool.
it definitely doesn't help that everyone guessed who she was going to be. So yeah, I don't know. I like her in the movie. I like what they did with her character. The thing that I really enjoyed was them, not necessarily an origin, but I guess an origin for how powerful she becomes. Because, if anyone's been watching any of these movies for the last fucking 20, 30 years, we've seen Jean Grey before a couple of times. And, the big deal with her character is that, she has this inherently powerful mutant power, I guess. And it's a big plot point in her story and like the X-Men story. And so I liked that it kind of played with the idea of that they all just believe that she's telepathic until the very end when like her true power awakens and she develops the like telekinesis as well. I thought that was really cool. And it actually got me really excited going into like the actual climax of the movie.
Yeah, two things. One, it annoyed me how much that the DODC just kind of ignores her in the flashback. Like, did they not realize she was a mutant either along with her sister or something? Because she screamed like right next to them, "No, don't take her."
Well, I wasn't right next to her, but it was something that I kind of thought in the back of my head while watching it.
It was just like,
how did they not? It
was a little bit of a silly moment for me. Her flashback,
a little bit, yeah.
Just in that manner, but also I will say this makes me like, dude. They also announced a few hours before the first few showings of Brand New Day that they casted what's her name as Emma Frost.
Oh, Samara Weaving.
Samara Weaving. Yeah.
Your favorite actress.
My favorite actress. But it makes me really wonder what this new X-Men movie is going to be whenever they're done with all of this.
You talking because of like all the Cyclops memes that I've been seeing, or?
No, just because now they've actually casted two of them. D23 is this month, and I think they're going to be doing some more reveals on the cast, which is something that it seems like they've been hinting towards. So I'm really curious who they start getting for like Scott Summers, whatever they decide to do with the new Wolverine. Bro,
okay,
I already know they're going to tease Wolverine at the end of the first one. And he's not going to be in the first movie. I guarantee you.
Yeah. So I don't think we're going to get any more revelations about the X-Men stuff because they're not going to cast a new Scott Summers before.
You don't think they're gonna announce a big casting though, like a Storm or something, like a big character casting?
it would have to be a character that we don't already know is going to be in the movie. Because, like I said, like it would be really dumb to me for them to announce like this whole new slate of X-Men characters
No, that's what I'm saying.
when
They're going to do
Doomsday
a
hasn't
few.
come out, and we already know that like Scott Summers is going to be in that movie from the original X-Men movies. And so to me that would just signify the thing that we already know is going to happen, which is they're going to fucking die, because that's the only thing that you can do with those characters at this point is just fucking kill them. We'll have to wait and see what the again. I haven't exactly been super enthralled by the way they've been marketing some of these movies, in terms of generating hype.
Hmm. I just I hope X-Men takes a lot from this movie in the regard that I wasn't expecting Brand New Day to be so comic booky, and I wish we sat more in the Spider-Man New York City world of that we were in for like the first 15 minutes when they were replicating like all those like really old comic book covers, because that's what all those slow-mo shots were.
Yeah, I know that.
Um, and they all, so this is where I feel like a lot of the movie got cut is, so apparently like, that's another thing with this movie is I definitely think it sounded like it struggled finding its story in the editing room. That's what it sounded like to me.
Maybe,
Just
yeah.
because apparently the test audiences hated the first cut of this film and Tom Holland hated the first cut of this
Okay,
film.
listen, we got to stop trusting
Okay, but I'm
audiences
saying,
when
but
it
bro,
comes to
the fact that
Spider-Man,
Tom Holland says
because
it, I
they've
think,
always been wrong.
yeah, but the fact that Tom Holland says it tells me enough,
No,
bro.
yeah,
And
no, yeah. I trust that more than I do the test audience thing, because
I agree, but the fact that Tom Holland says it and like with the straight face, like you could pretty much tell when he's lying, and the dude was not lying. That it wasn't a good cut, and you could tell that they cut a lot of this beginning part out just because it feels like there's more there, but there's not.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. And while I would be interested in seeing like a longer version of the movie, kind of how we did with No Way Home, although I think this movie probably has more to like include in terms of like cut footage. I'm sure you're right in that they probably did focus a lot of like the first act on like him just being Spider-Man, without any of like the other stuff. But again, similar to what we said about Far From Home, you need to set up the big stuff relatively quickly in a movie like this, because you don't want to spend 30 to 45 minutes of a movie without like the plot starting. And I mean, I still think the movies does a good job in terms of like pacing and cutting out some of that stuff.
I gotta disagree with. I think the pacing was a little all over the place for me in this, just because it's trying to handle so many different storylines. Like I really wish the Peter growing into like a man spider, the do I want to be Peter? Can I be Peter or can I be Spider-Man? Why can't I be both? Like that whole stuff for me, I wish there was either more of it or it was paced out better, because a lot of it felt like it was front loaded to the beginning of the film and then was just kind of pushed to the back with the mutant inhibitor on the back of the neck, and then it just kind of became relevant again once he needed to like unlock his ultimate ability. Because that's the one thing I'll say about this movie is I really liked all of the inspirations it took, not from the comics but from the PlayStation games. I know you probably
Oh,
wouldn't recognize a lot of it, but
I mean, I've seen
all,
clips from the
but
games,
like a lot of the stuff where like
the
they're
finishing moves and
developing
stuff.
weapons to
Oh,
like
okay.
stop you, that's very from the video. They have it in the comics, but the way they show it off is very like from the games. Um I really like the action. Like there's a lot of that stuff I like. Just the editing is the one thing that just kind of bugged me the most, because of how much some things felt front loaded and then had to get caught back up by the end of it, because they're like, oh shit, we didn't mention any of this for 45 minutes because we put an inhibitor on him. Let's wrap this up. Because I do think a lot of Peter's inner conflict kind of gets pushed to the side to the very end, especially in the middle of the movie.
I mean, I don't 100% agree with that. I think he's fighting with it the whole time because, you know, he's dealing with the inhibitor stuff, and, you know, he's trying to make it work so that he can be the way that he thinks he should be. And, you know, going back into the MJ stuff, like, I like once it is like actual real MJ, she's not being mind controlled, how she fits into that whole conversation when, you know, she tells him, like, you know, why are you doing all this stuff? This seems like you're trying to be something that you're not. So I still think it's they keep bringing it back up. It's a point of conflict and conversation throughout the entire movie. So that's why I think that it still works and it's still efficient in that manner.
I guess I couldn't take it seriously enough because tell me it wasn't kind of cartoony about how they kept showing the arachnid DNA levels and it just
the hormone levels,
the hormone levels, and I'm like, dude, what is this right now? It's not a complaint. I'm just saying I thought it was like a funny gimmicky thing.
I kind of agree with you. This is something that has become more clear again with like the post release interview stuff where like Tom Holland has been saying like, oh yeah, I pitched all of these different things to like the writers and the execs, and you kind of get a sense that they were maybe a little too afraid to push, because, you know, I don't know, have you seen the animated episodes where he's dealing with the mutation stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some wacky, like,
dude, it's
freaky
weird.
stuff
It's
in that
weird.
movie. Like, I remember even when I was a kid, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, not in a silly way, but in a, like, that's a kind of horrifying way.
Yeah.
And I think even Tom Holland said, like, we still wanted this to be the kind of movie that you could bring your children to, which unfortunately there were children in at least the showing that I saw last night.
There's plenty in my first one.
And yeah, so I think that's the reason why they put that whole like hormone level thing, because they needed like a simple way to explain it without like getting into like, you know, body horror stuff where he's like growing extra limbs and shit.
Full bar, dude.
Yeah,
a fucking arachnid.
But I do kind of wish there was a better indication of like how much of his mutation was solely based on like his like repressed emotions and like the trauma of having gone through like everyone forgetting him and whatnot. Because by the end of the movie, like, yeah, to me the end of the movie felt like
it felt like it was more about Jean Grey by the end.
Well, no, that's not what I mean. Like, that's not what I mean.
No, I know.
Terms of,
that's how it felt to me.
In terms of like his mutation stuff, like, to me the movie, for the first parts of the movie where we were dealing with the mutation, I thought that it was implying that the arachnid DNA was like taking over, and so I was expecting like at least by the end of the movie he would have to, you know, come to terms with like his emotional stuff to get it to like settle back down or whatever, and then it just kind of becomes about him accepting the mutations. So to me it felt unclear if he's just supposed to have those more like organic spider stuff now, which I thought was a little confusing, but it's whatever.
I think so, but it feels like it was more of a plot point to introduce the inhibitors for like the future X-Men and stuff like that.
I really don't want them to do that.
Well, they're gonna make Peter into a villain by being the sole creator of like the inhibitor chip.
That's one of the reasons why I don't want them to do that.
Well, they're going to, so be prepared, because that's gonna be like the next big, I think, plot point for Peter Parker, is him dealing with the fact that he created this device that could stop any mutant or metahuman, whatever it may be, you know, and takes away their powers, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I think the mutation thing was the only thing that was a little inconsistent for me, because I think by them including the whole like hormone balance thing, it made me think that by the end of the movie we were going to get to a point where they would have to like balance out, but it just becomes with him, I guess, accepting that he's more spider than human now or whatever. I don't know. It was a little weird to me. I think if they hadn't included the like visual of like the hormone levels, it would have made more sense to me. So that's why it doesn't bug me the most. No pun intended. Of to me it's for me it's more of like a nitpicky thing. In terms of like my overall view of the movie, because I do like the mutation stuff. I like how it makes sense for tying Gene into his story and the whole idea of like him changing, and sort of being afraid of that.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that truly like had me head scratching was like, how many more times is Peter going to be gullible to get like lied to by somebody that he helps incite the incident for the main conflict? You know what I mean?
You mean trusting the DODC director?
Yeah. It feels like
Yeah.
Peter's always trusting someone saying something, doing something to the exact wrong person he should be doing it to, that sets up the climax of all of his films. You know? And
I mean, not the first one, but...
okay, sorry, but like the second... I'm trying to think of No Way Home.
Does he really like go out of his way to trust people?
Yeah, bro! Fucking Mysterio! He literally gives him the glasses and
No,
says...
not the second. You said the third one.
Yeah, no, I said I was thinking about the third one. I was going
Yeah.
through it in my head.
No, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't remember there being... Like, because
he trusts Norman that...
I mean, yes and no. Like,
I
feel like
yes,
I feel
he
like
does. He
I feel
trusts
like
that it's Norman when...
I feel like the crutch of that is less him trusting Norman and more of him just wanting to go out of his way to like save them. Because I mean, he knows they're all villains.
Yeah, but they're all straight up telling him that he's got a second side that is scary and will fucking kill you. He's warned about it. And he's still like, bro, fucking even, whatchamacallit? He even says it in the movie, he's like, Peter, I can't control it. Like, no shit, bro. He controls you. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired of Peter just like kind of being taken advantage of and like him allowing it at this point. Like, dude, you're on your fourth movie. It's been 4 years since the end of No Way Home. You fought how God knows you've literally fought the fucking Hand. Like, you've done so many different things.
I love how easy it is for him in comparison to like Daredevil.
Dude, it's so easy. What did you think about William Metzger though? Is like the villain.
I thought he was okay. I think he works for what the story is trying to do. He's not a full-fledged like character just because. I mean, there's enough. Like, I understand that he's the evil, government dude, which is, it's fine for what it is. But obviously the movie is trying to like, do the whole red herring thing with Jean Grey, which again, I don't dislike, for the most part. Like, I think it works by the end.
I agree. My thing is it just feels like a lot of this is to set up other movies, which, yeah, you could say that about some, like...
I would disagree with that, but...
I don't know, dude. This is more X-Men than I would have wanted.
But the thing though is that like...
Because even Metzger is an X-Men villain.
Well, no, yeah. I found that out after I saw the movie, but... I mean, my thing though is that obviously it's an interconnected universe. Like, you want to still feel like, other things are going on within the universe, like the world. But for me, I think that, Jean Grey is in the movie so little, and it has so little to do with like the mutant thing. Like, in all the X-Men mutants or the X-Men movies, the thing is just that they don't like mutants. And it's, this whole like, metaphor for prejudice and whatnot. And I didn't get that in this movie, so I feel like it's fine. And I think it does make sense to give Spider-Man an antagonist that is very similar to him.
I mean, Jean does say to Peter, they don't like you because you have powers.
That's true.
I mean, and they also make weapons that go directly against everyone's individual powers. But on top of that, the one scene I absolutely wish this movie could have done without. I love Baby Girl, but Yelena needed to, like, it was such a I don't know what the point of the scene was. I'll be honest.
I think the point of the scene was to explain the possession thing, but also to explain, like, it's one of those scenes where we're getting a look at Spider-Man from like outside his own perspective. So, she's the one that brings up like how sad and lonely he is, and he's like, I'm not sad and lonely, what are you talking about? And then, throughout the whole movie we're being like, you are kind of sad and lonely. So that's the thing that I thought it was. The main point of that scene was to set up that idea of, looking at him from the outside instead of, just having the story be told through his own point of view. And that's the thing that I really like about the way they included like pretty much all of the other like main Marvel like the superheroes in this movie, was they're all kind of similar to each other, and they only really come to a better understanding of the other person and then themselves by interacting with each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of don't hate her being in the movie, and she's not in it enough either for me to really care.
That's fair.
I mean, the Hulk, maybe you could argue, but it gives us a fun little set piece. But like, I really liked the way that Frank was included in, because that was another thing that I was kind of unsure of. I was like, how are they going to do this? Because again, a month ago we saw him killing people in the streets for a dumb reason,
and not just killing people, like fucking butchering them.
No, yeah, and I liked how they used that in the movie as, like, it makes sense that as a point of conflict, they would be like, oh, I want to just, shoot everyone. And he's like, you can't, like, please. Like, I love that moment where they're in the building and, they decide on their plan or whatever, their plan of action. And right before they separate, Peter comes back and he's like, Frank, don't kill her. I thought it was really funny.
They also had a good banter / like chemistry.
No, yeah. And I don't know. I really liked how they used his character as a foil for Spider-Man and Peter, and I think that's present in like all of the scenes, like not just the surface level of like Peter doesn't like to kill and Frank likes to kill, but you can see how easy it would be for Peter to kind of become like Frank.
I agree, but the one part that like I had a hard time like getting on board with, as like feeling this is the same Frank Castle, is a lot of the ending third act stuff with him, like him feeling bad for shooting Peter. Like a lot of that I found to be a little unbelievable. Him helping Peter.
He helps Daredevil.
He does
all the time.
Yeah, but how long did it take for him to get like that with Daredevil? And yet again, we didn't see a lot of their
season.
That's what I'm saying, but we didn't like get to see a lot of their relationship. But I don't know. I don't believe that he's going to be sitting there sleeping next to Peter as Peter.
I think he would.
Like, you think so? I don't know.
I think the movie does enough to show their relationship for us to understand why he would feel bad about accidentally shooting him. And yeah, I don't know. I thought that ending scene with them was one of the more emotional scenes in the movie. Like, it actually like made me feel.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that scene was really good. It's a good resolution to their, because all the other scenes that they're having with each other is that banter stuff where they're kind of like on two different sides, and even when they are kind of having like heart to heart moments, it is very like it's just still very tense between them. And then I think it's a good resolution to that relationship where at the end they're kind of admitting to each other, specifically on Frank's end, that he was like, oh, I'm really sorry that I messed that up, and admitting that they're actually friends with each other. And again, it's the whole thing of like, you don't have to do this alone. So it would be weird if Frank didn't leave the movie being.
I don't disagree, but let's be real. What the fuck did Frank do in this movie to help him? Outside of,
he helped him fight the Hulk.
Did he though? Was that really helping? Because the second they split up, MJ just controlled him.
You mean Jean Grey?
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's less of like plot relevance. It's more like thematic relevance.
I guess I don't know.
Okay,
It's hard.
here's my closing statement for this, Your Honor. He does more for the plot of this movie than Zendaya does in fucking The Odyssey. Okay, that's all I'll say. So don't scrunch your face at me like that. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. One, he's in the movie way longer than she's in that movie for what, 5 minutes?
Hey, she's in the entire thing.
The Odyssey? No, she's not.
Yeah,
No,
she's in the
not.
beginning, middle, and end.
So is Frank. I don't know. I don't think you can say that Zendaya's role in the Odyssey makes more sense than Frank's in this movie.
It's more pivotal for the character, I think.
Thematically, yes. Story-wise, no.
Bro, what? I disagree.
And that's not. And I'm not even saying that I don't like Zendaya in that movie. Like, I understand the point of her role in that movie, which is what I'm saying for this as well. I understand the role that Frank plays in the movie.
I thought the best scene by far was when Jean finally goes into like Peter's brain or head.
Yeah.
And it like takes the place of Peter. Like, I really appreciate the way they've kind of treated Aunt May in these 4 films, as opposed to like the other ones where they just kind of treated her as like this older mumbling woman who just makes these old like cracky funny jokes to Peter. Like I just keep thinking about that one in The Amazing Spider-Man when she pulled out like Aunt May pulled out the clothes from the dryer and it's like red, white, and blue. She's like, "Why are you putting the American flag in there?" Because Peter said he put the American flag in there. It's just like, dude, what kind of silly shit is this? But they give her like something pivotal to the plot yet again for a character that's dead. And they didn't really do it so much in Far From Home. But I'd say every other Spider-Man film gave her like a pivotal Peter Parker moment. And in this, not Peter Parker, but it's in the place. Jean's in the place of Peter Parker, but still with the same contextual meaning in what she's saying to Jean, which is what I like and thought was kind of different. And like, that's the one scene that truly got me a little emotional.
Mm. No, yeah, I like how it's kind of a continuation of that last scene that Peter has with Happy, who is unfortunately missing from this movie. But
I know, dude. I was really hoping he would make like a cameo or something.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like how it's an extension of that moment where Happy's like, oh, you wonder if everything they stood for is gone too. And her gravestone says, if you help one person, you help everyone, or something like that. And so I think that that's something that this movie uses to its advantage, of having her be that like crucial moment for both the characters to understand each other and themselves. And Peter using that idea of like, because I think he says in that moment in No Way Home that he's like, if you, now I'm trying to remember what the line was.
I believe in you. You've got this.
I don't know, it was something to the same effect of what's on the gravestone. The people that she helped would keep it going, and so it's like, she helped me, I'm going to use this to help you as well. I think that's another point in the movie that really sold me on Jean Grey's inclusion in the movie. But yeah, because again, they are very similar to each other. I like how all the characters are different points of the same spectrum.
No, yeah, I agree. I'm go like we spoke about the post-credit scene.
Yes.
We spoke about
Jean
the
Grey.
connections, Jean Grey, the Avengers film.
Talked about MJ. Oh, that's the thing we didn't talk about. You don't agree that they remember him at the end?
Oh yeah. I just refuse to believe that it's that simple to
all right,
reverse.
again, it's
listen.
Well, it's not about simplicity, okay?
Okay, what would you call it? Undoing a magic spell.
Then there's nothing simple about undoing a magic spell.
Then yet they make it seem so simple. That is my
I
point.
just think the movie sets up these bits and pieces to make you understand that that's. I'm not saying it's 100% right, but for me, like, I would be remiss if I didn't think that in the back of my head, like, oh, is this what's happening? Because you have the moment between where with the Hulk, when the Savage Hulk comes back out, where he says like, oh, I think she broke something, and then you have the moment where they've been released from Jean Grey's hold, and then finally the last time we see MJ, she's sitting on the rooftop,
With the Black Dahlia.
with the Black Dahlia glass necklace that he gave her in Far From Home. So to me, that signals, and also the other thing too is that she smiles. She like gives a little smile at the end of that scene too. So to me, it
So
seems
you're
to be
saying
implying that
the big wave at the end gave them their memories back.
I think it helped unlock something in the recesses of their mind. I'm not saying that they remember I'm not saying that MJ and Ned remember him completely, but I think it's going to be an important part going forward in them potentially either remembering him, or maybe having her, like, with her having read the note and everything and been around him, maybe there's like a familiarity there.
I hope if they do go down any direction like that, it turns into there's something deep down that like they know and they're just kind of listening to, which is like kind of why I assume she said yes to going with Spider-Man in the first place when he appears at like her window.
That
like,
wasn't
take her.
MJ though.
Yeah, it was.
No, she was already being mind controlled by Jean Grey when he got there.
No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
So this is my other problem. The film sets up a 33-meter radius. How does that make sense?
33-foot radius.
33-foot radius. Either way, how does that make sense?
Okay, so actually, this is something that I thought about. Oh, sorry, you cut out. What did you say?
He literally grabs her and starts swinging away.
MJ?
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. So she was already, and it comes back later when the reveal that she didn't remember anything, because the last thing she remembers is sitting at her desk. So Jean
I remember
Grey
her saying that, but I don't believe that. Like I don't.
What do you mean you don't believe that? That's what the movie's telling you. So
I know, but how does that work?
About the 30,
if Spider-Man is traveling such a far distance after grabbing her, how is Jean Grey keeping up with him to stay within?
Okay, no, that's the thing.
Foot?
Jean doesn't have to be within 33 feet of the person she's already mind controlling. She just needs to be 33 feet within to enter
After
their mind, and because that's the thing that her sister says, like, she can't go beyond the 33 feet radius, but she can use the hopping thing because they're sitting there the whole time. They don't have to move closer, because at that point, why would you even have to do the hopping thing if the person has to actually be within 33 feet?
I mean,
so she can
real.
still.
Let's be real though. All those people were in 33 feet when she was.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying though. The movie's telling me that you to enter how do I want to word this? It's confusing, but in order for her to enter,
I think I get what
first
you're saying.
person in the chain,
it has to be.
Yes, she has to be
feet.
within 33 feet. But the thing that Peter doesn't realize at the time is that yes, she has to be within 33 feet to make a jump. However, she can still cancel the jump at any time, and so even though he traps that one dude in the helicopter, that doesn't mean that he can actually stop her from, stopping or disrupting the chain and then jumping into someone else who's closer. Does that make sense? That's how I saw it.
I guess, but like that's like a lot of explaining.
I mean, the movie doesn't outright explain it to you, but that was the thing that I kind of was like, oh, that makes sense, because we see her, or not, we don't see her, but we see some of the characters that get mind controlled when it switches back to their regular personality without her having to jump to someone new.
No, yeah, I know. Like I said, that's like that was not clear whatsoever for me watching it twice. I found it like to be every time she jumped, she'd have to be within 33 feet of someone to jump. Because, like, every time she did jump, it felt within that radius, which is also what is kind of confusing.
No, yeah, like she can't jump into someone else, and then the next person she jumps into can't also has to be within that 33 feet radius. Um, but her main body doesn't have to be within the
Okay.
33-foot radius of the next person she jumps into, because again, that wouldn't make sense for why they would go out of their way to do the whole hopping thing.
No, yeah, that makes
Um,
a lot more sense.
but yeah, I took it as she got into MJ before, because it takes him a while to get to MJ's place, and he doesn't know where Jean's main body is, so she was probably a lot closer to her than he thought. And I think she was just like playing with, like, teasing him by saying like, I'll race you there. But at any time, when she gets cornered, she can, come back out of someone's mind and then jump into someone else that's closer.
Yeah. All right, that makes a little bit more sense because I was struggling with that one. I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on right here?
Yeah,
Oh,
it is a little confusing.
um, I'm trying to think though. Anything else, or do you want to do final wrap ups?
Um, I mean, we didn't really talk about the visuals, at least in
I
comparison to
mean, I
other
mentioned it a
movies.
little bit. Like, I like that they went with a more comic book look to it.
Is
Like,
that a comic book look to it?
I would say so. Like, a lot of the comic book panel stuff feels very comic booky. The suit feels very comic booky. Even like the world itself feels vibrant in a way that I don't think many MCU films have fit under, even when they are vibrant.
I mean, I still think that the other movies, like the John Watts trilogy, is pretty vibrant. I just think, from like a cinematography standpoint, I think the movie looks way better under
Well,
Destin's creative
they're
team.
doing a lot more interesting things with the camera that they're
I
really
think
trying
the
to
lighting
focus
is
on.
way
Like,
better in this movie.
you know, the lighting is way better.
It
It
reminds me
doesn't
a
feel like
lot.
it's on a screen the entire time.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot more of like the Thunderbolts. Because I thought that movie was shot pretty well, and I mean we it was the creative team behind like Beef and whatnot. So I really enjoyed the new look for this movie. I think it looks a lot better. The CGI is definitely better. Like you can tell in moments that it's CGI, but not in the same way. Like it's not like you being like, oh, that's bad CGI. Like,
Yeah.
um, so I thought a lot of
I
that was
like all
really
the
good.
new web swinging and stuff. Like that first web swing when he goes to stop the tank. I
Mm.
thought was really fun. When
Some
he first just jumps off.
I think I think maybe it was someone who said it as I was getting out of the theater, but someone commented that they really liked the look of the web. Like they were like, oh, it looked like really real, like the organic web stuff.
Oh yeah, like it's funny you mentioned that because I thought that to myself. I'm like, they found a way to make the organic webbing stand out differently in a way
No,
that I
yeah,
don't think it really has. Like, well, I think it's when he first tries the power dampener and he puts on his web fluid for the first time, and like the ones that come from his body shoot like fucking rockets out.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, dude, I would not want to be hit by that, let alone like stopped. It sounded like it hurt. It sounded like a fake gun, like one of those rubber bullets.
Mm.
Like that's like what the impact I would associate with it when like I heard it. But yeah, I like how they're making him like a mix of both Spider-Man 2 between Toby and Peter's, like even from his power set. So I'm curious to see what they do with him being like this more technological side like he is with the Amazing Spider-Man Peter compared to the more like homegrown version of Peter with the Tobey Maguire version with like the homemade webs inside of him and all that. I was hoping like they do like their version of Peter learning how to use his webs for the first time, like in the
Oh
first,
yeah,
like in the 2001 or 2001
I actually really
Spider-Man
liked that in
film.
this movie too.
I thought it was really good, but like I really wanted them to do like he starts feeling it with the fingers and stuff again. Like they do a little bit with his senses being a little over heightened and him like freaking out. But I think I wanted a little bit seeing more of like how he feels differently rather than the webs, like him not learning how to like shoot it properly and control it, and him like losing all of his senses or all of them being way too heightened.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know I don't know exactly what they would have done differently because I mean it's different from Toby in that like his character had just like gotten the powers.
Well, I still want to know what the fuck happened in his room when he first went like changed for the first time after
Oh
he
yeah,
saw
they do
MJ
kind of like
kiss the
leave that up
boyfriend.
too, and
Like, dude, what did he do? Did he just start shooting webs from like every part of his fucking
every
body?
orifice.
And then he just like climbed out the window to hang. Like,
I mean, I'm sure it's just his body kind of going into overdrive.
Yeah.
And it probably did because it probably had just developed, and so it needed to like release. That's kind of how I viewed it, and I don't know exactly how the whole spider biology stuff works, but I liked how it looked like a cocoon, like a web cocoon, because I've seen that from spiders before, like just in my front yard. So I liked all that stuff, but yeah,
with bricked up Tom Holland.
yeah,
I want whatever protein powder he's drinking every morning. Like,
no, yeah, that's hilarious.
all right, you want to into final wrap ups?
Yeah. So yeah, we gotta do our Spider-Man rankings because I said that we would do that.
All right.
So if you haven't ranked them yet, you need to do that. Oh no, you did because I think you sent it.
I did. I just have to re-rank it, like put it. All right, boom. It's saved.
Dude, I'm so we have to talk about the rest of these Spider-Man movies at one point. Obviously, when Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, we'll talk about the other two Spider-Verse movies. But I really want to talk about TASM and the Sam Raimi trilogy.
I know, dude. I can't wait to talk about TASM too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good whenever you are.
You go first.
All right. So I got Spider-Man 3 last place at 11. Amazing Spider-Man 2 at number 10.
That's crazy.
I want to switch these around too. They're on the right spot. Amazing Spider-Man at number 9, and then Spider-Man at number 8. Far From Home at number 7. Brand New Day at number 6. Spider-Man 2 at number 5. Across the Spider-Verse at number 4. I might switch those two as well. Homecoming at number 3. Into the Spider-Verse at number 2. And No Way Home at number 1. It's just that simple and correct. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules.
I guess I should say that some of these I haven't seen in a while. And they're... I'm not saying... I mean, I am kind of saying that some of these are better than the others. But the drop-off in quality really is just like the last 3. So the other ones are like really close to each other. So that's what I'm saying about that. And this will be subject to change, obviously. So 11 in dead last has got to be TASM 2. I've seen that one more recently than I wanted to, but it was interesting rewatching that movie with two people who hadn't seen it before, because I saw it with my dad and my brother in preparation for No Way Home, and it was actually funny because obviously Gwen dies at the end of the movie. I remember when that happened, my brother was like, "What?" He was like, "They can't do that. They killed the main love interest." And I was like, "You didn't know that Gwen dies in this movie?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Oh yeah, she dies in the comics. Like everybody knows that." Anyway, sorry.
Bro was dying when he found out.
I know, he was so shocked by it. I was like, this is hilarious for me. Next is number 10, The Amazing Spider-Man. It's definitely better than the second one. But there's still a lot of inconsistencies that kind of drag it down a bit. But, again, like I said in the last video, I like Andrew Garfield's interpretation of the character. it's just really unfortunate that he was in two shit movies. 9 is Spider-Man 3. It's definitely the worst of the Raimi trilogy, but I still think it's kind of fun. I think the Sam Raimi-isms help elevate it above the other two. So I would definitely much rather watch that one than the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Number 8, I have Spider-Man, the original Sam Raimi film. That one I have a soft spot for, just because that's the one that I grew up watching. That was the only one that I had on DVD before the Amazing Spider-Man came out. But in retrospect, it's not as strong as like some of the other ones, especially its sequel. Number 7, I have Spider-Man: Far From Home. This is also, I mean, in comparison, it's not the best one in the Home trilogy, but I still think it's a really strong Spider-Man movie. So then at number 6, we have Spider-Man 2. And this one might be the most hot take because I think a lot of people
I love Spider-Man
consider
2,
this.
so
No,
brilliant.
yeah. I think it's the one that a lot of people consider the pinnacle of Spider-Man in film. And for the time, I understand that. I understand its importance in like the superhero genre. It's one that I haven't revisited in a while, so I probably should, which is why I'm placing it below Brand New Day, which is my next one. But yeah, I have to revisit that one, but I still think it's a really good movie. Anyways, yeah, Brand New Day is number 5. It's definitely one of the better Spider-Man movies again, but it's not quite as strong as the next ones that I'm going to talk about, even though I did think it was a really great movie. Number 4 is No Way Home. I think No Way Home and Brand New Day are the two that I will probably switch for me every time I revisit them, because I do think they're pretty neck and neck. No Way Home has a lot more like hype moments, and it is carried by the fact that it is like that, like we said last time, the bookend to like the whole Spider-Man kind of like franchise. But as of right now, I would say I do really still I do think that it's better, if only like slightly. Number 3 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think this one, like you and me talked about before, is hampered by the fact that it's half the story. We were supposed to have gotten Beyond the Spider-Verse by now, and
I think they confirmed 2028 though, or next year.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that one comes out, and it could change the way that I rank some of these top 3. Anyways, I still think it's a really good movie, and I like what it's setting up, and I do like the way that it ends with Miles' story in that movie. Number 2 is Spider-Man: Homecoming. This is by far the best live-action movie that we've gotten from Spider-Man. I love the style and tone that it's going for, and this is the movie that cemented my love for Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. And then number 1 is undoubtedly Into the Spider-Verse. When that movie came out and I saw it for the first time, I was blown away. I was like, I can't believe Sony made a Spider-Man movie outside of the MCU that did not suck.
That's true. That is true.
But yeah, so that's my rankings.
Yeah, it's not a bad ranking. I'll give you credit there.
What did you rate Brand New Day?
I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's a good Spider-Man movie.
You sure you don't want to bump that up?
No, I'm almost.
Have I not convinced you?
No,
that the movie was way better.
You haven't convinced me very much.
Kissed you?
You might have, but you definitely didn't convince me very much.
Bruh.
I'll be honest.
I don't know, bro.
I'm going to be pretty stubborn on this one, so be ready.
I think you're overhating it way too much.
Never, bro. There's no hate. I said it was good. There's no hate, brother.
Yeah, but it's better than good, bro. A good Spider-Man movie is like, Spider-Man and Far From Home.
I agree. And
it's way better than that. No,
that's why all three of them are next to each other to me, bro.
It's not on that level, bro.
It's literally on that
Honestly,
level.
I would say it's probably closer to like Spider-Man 2. It shares a lot of similar ideas.
No, it's not.
What do you mean, no, it's not?
Don't gaslight an entire audience like this, bro.
They're not gonna believe me anyways. Dude,
I know
the
that's what
amount
I'm
of
saying. So
people,
stop trying to
the amount of
gaslight
people
them.
who overglaze on Spider-Man 2 is crazy. Like, no,
You know,
I'm
it is
like,
pretty. It
again,
should be illegal.
it's the best movie in the Tobey Maguire series by far, but it's not the best Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, you fucking nerds.
Like, we've gotten way more now that are in my eyes better, which is why I rank it lower on the higher end of. I don't know if that made sense, but
It
anyways,
makes
again,
enough
I
sense
think
to
I think
me.
it's a good movie. I think it's a really good movie, but we've gotten better Spider-Man movies since then.
I agree. And
So I gave it a 4.5. Sorry, I forgot.
that's crazy, but it's fine. It's fine.
Honestly, I almost gave it 5 just for this. Just
That's
for this conversation.
crazy, bro.
just,
That's
just out of spite.
that's crazy, my brother. But without that said, Leo, what are we watching next week?
Alrighty, guys. We've gotten through the thick of it, guys. We did almost back to back 3 new releases, which has been a little taxing. I'm a little exhausted. So we're going back to, original premise of the show. And we're going to be talking about It Follows because I'm trying to remember what's coming out for this. Who is the director of this movie? Because he's making a new movie.
I low-key forgot.
David Robert Mitchell. What is his new movie that's coming out? The End of Oak Street.
Oh,
That's
End
why.
of Oak Street.
The The End of Oak Street is coming out that he directed. So we are going to talk about It Follows. I've never seen it, but I've heard good things about it. So yeah, that is what is in store for next week.
And without doubt, leave us a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let us know what you thought about Brand New Day, the 4th outing for MCU Spider-Man. Are you excited to see him in Avengers Secret War or
I think the question
film
you
in
should be asking are you excited to not see him in Doomsday?
I think I know the answer for everyone. Because, dude, the fact that him and Hulk are not going to be in Doomsday is like the one thing I hate about the movie the most. But that's neither here or there. Thank you guys so much. Check out our other videos, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.